Welcome to Wednesday Comics.
Brought to you by rootsoftheswampthing.com and Siouxpercon 2018 Return of the Con.
Hey everyone, keep turning those pages.
Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we have John McClane himself. Alex, how you doing?
Hello everyone.
And across me, we have Al. Al, how you doing, Garrett?
I shot that kid.
And I'm your host, Argyle. I'm Marvin. This is Wednesday Comics Podcast. We are here to give you some reviews of comic books from this week and play a fun game that Garrett made up this week, right?
That's right.
Celebrating our road to 100. We'll talk
I don't
about
know if
that
it's
more
about a celebration.
later. Oh,
I just said it's the road to 100. I didn't say anything about celebrating.
did you make that because you are our road guy?
Could be.
Oh, well.
You'll find out.
Speaking of roads, we're heading west coast here. They announced today Kelly Thompson's new book, so we're all over that. Kelly Thompson, writer of Hawkeye, great run. How many issues? 17?
16.
16? And we
You don't
were,
end that shit on an odd number.
at the end, she was like, "Hey, don't worry, Kate will be back. Maybe with more people." She said on we knew it was going to be a team book.
Right.
We thought Young Avengers at the time. Turns out, nope, wrong. West Coast Avengers.
And an actual team worthy of being called the West Coast.
Kelly Thompson is writing. Stefano Caselli is doing the art.
What's Caselli do?
He did Avengers. He did
Iron Man.
He did some of
The
Hickman's
Riri
Avengers.
Williams stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty good.
On the team, here we go. We have Kate, the aforementioned Kate. We do have Clint Barton, so 2 Hawkeyes for 1.
Yes.
We have Miss America. She's on the team. I like her too, so that's good. American Chavez.
Okay.
You know Chavez?
What happened to her book?
R.I.P.
Canceled.
R.I.P.
Not enough
Wow.
sales. Well, at the time, Marvel said, "Hey, no, that book's not going away. It's just not part of Legacy." Well, so they said we weren't promoting a part of Legacy because it's not under that banner. Well, I think it went away. Quentin Quire, Kid Omega, is in the book. He's one of the X-Men. He's a Grant Morrison creation, I believe.
I remember
So,
Quentin.
Quentin will be on the team. He's a good character. He's very powerful, so that'll be a good asset.
Wasn't he in Thor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gwenpool. This is where she found her place since her book got canceled too. She'll be on this team. And
We'll see. If it was Spider-Gwen, I'd be like, yes. But Gwenpool?
Oh, and weirdly enough, I went to it was Spider-Gwen. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
sweet. I haven't read a Spider-Gwen book.
Spider-Gwen was great. Gwenpool?
and then one more person on the team is I'm trying to find his name, but in the Hawkeye book, the guy that she's into, her boyfriend.
The Darwin kid.
Yeah, he will be in the book.
What was his power?
He's the rock. He turned his hand into rocks to block her.
That's right.
I think he's like Darwin from First Class.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, it says Johnny. So is it not from the book? I can remember his name.
I thought his name was Johnny.
Cheated on him.
It says Kate's in way over her head boyfriend Johnny will also be in the book. So I think it's just he doesn't have powers. He's just a guy too. Also, so
Well, that could be the other kid that was like jealous.
That might be.
it might be. Did I have a nose ring?
I don't remember.
Oh, whatever. He'll be on this. So this another person will be on this team who's not actually a real hero, but he's going to be a tryout. West Coast Avengers, and we know that Kelly Thompson is excellent. So I'm going to get that. Caselli art's nice too.
This right now is definitely a blind buy for me, where there's some of those characters on that team I'm like, yeah, that's really exciting. There's other ones I'm like, I don't know if I really care.
I think this cover also shows you like
How
her.
fun it's gonna be.
it's like her Hawkeye. It's going to be like, okay, we're still going to have that kind of style.
Who's Miss America?
In the bottom.
She can
Chavez.
punch through different
Yeah,
dimensions.
she can go through dimensions. She can fly.
Oh, wait.
Strong.
So Miss America is America Chavez.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought there were two different girls.
She's a young Avenger. So is Kate. So we had 2 young Avengers, and then we got Clint on the team as the mentor, the older guy.
And I think the way, like, those last 2 issues that Kelly wrote, Clint and, I can't think of her name. Kate. It was so good.
Yeah, so I mean, I have no worries that she's not going to know how to write Clint, so that'd be a good book. Right. Really looking forward to it. Let me see here. When does it come out?
Probably
August.
July or August.
Kate, Hawkeye, a guy named Fuse, never had them been called the big 3 of anything. And now here they are reunited for, okay, well, it's only a second time ever. Thank God they brought along America Chavez, Gwenpool, and Kid Omega. Wait, what? That's right. It's the new West Coast. That's right. It's the new West Coast Avengers, son. And you better hope they can figure out how to save the world because big things are headed for the West Coast. West Coast Avengers #1 arrives on August 22nd. So August.
I have a question. Was that description in bullet points?
No, it wasn't.
Damn.
Good on Marvel. Because usually they put bullet points. They don't understand the point of bullet points. They just have a paragraph and then break it up into bullet points. And that's not how it works, Marvel.
You can't trick Marvin.
Well, they don't get any editors right now, so they don't know how to actually
That's
write.
true.
So, I do like their books. I'm just saying maybe hire an editor or two to figure out how to grammatically put a sentence together every once in a while. Not everybody. Some people know. Like Kate. Not Kate. Kelly.
Okay, one more nod about Kelly. Excited for her Nancy Drew book coming out here in June.
Oh, yeah. That actually just
What's
looked
that
interesting.
from?
I mean,
What?
who's doing
Well,
that? IDW?
yeah, it's
Boom?
No.
I think it's Boom.
I think it's Dynamite. Vertigo? No. I can't remember now. But I don't think
remember
it's
you
not
showing me.
Image. It could be IDW, but
I think it was IDW. Though,
I saw an ad in some book that was different color. It could be
I thought
Boom.
it's Boom.
Maybe it is Boom. Boom
Nancy
Box.
Drew comic here from Kelly Thompson. That is going to be part of Dynamite.
Dynamite?
Nice.
Because what was I reading from Dynamite? I don't know. Whatever.
So that'll come out. Yeah. So Kelly Thompson having a good year. I was hoping. I do like Young Avengers, so I was kind of hoping for a younger team, but this is a nice mix of all ages. You got Clint really old. Not really old. He's probably like 30, maybe not even. And then you have Kate who's like 22 or something like that.
I think
But
I
you
got,
keep them on the coast too, which was cool. I really like that about
It was because what every single
Hawkeye.
book takes place in New York City, except
Right.
for at the time Ant-Man was taking place in Miami, and then Hawkeye was taking place West Coast. So it's like you literally have. It does give it that feel of being like.
wait. Was Fractions Hawkeye actually in the West Coast? I thought that
Kate's part was.
Kate was. Okay, yeah, I knew Kate was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then then Clint went to go find her.
Yep,
And,
okay.
Yeah. So good stuff there. That's book coming out. Look for it in August 22nd on your bookshelves. We would recommend Wednesday Comics. Seal of approval to try that book at least and see if you like it, and go get all of her Hawkeye. It should be all out now. I would assume.
I think so.
And Gambit and Rogue.
Gambit and Rogue just finished too, right?
Yes.
RootsOfTheSwampThing.com, your definitive online source for all things Swamp Thing. Holland Files #2 is out. Garrett, how is it?
Holland File 2's was awesome. A lot of cool images that you haven't got to see in Holland Files #1, so definitely looking forward to finishing this bad boy.
And that's not the only thing. If you want to learn more about Swamp Thing, Alex, where would you go?
You're going to go to rootsoftheswampthing.com.
Make sure to stay in touch at RootsOfTheSwampThing.com on Twitter at DC World Swampy, Facebook.com/RootsOfTheSwampThing. Let's get into some comic book reviews for the week of 5/16/2018. That is the third Wednesday in the month of May. Almost over month of May. Quickly time goes by. You know what they say? Like sand through your hand.
Or like Justin Timberlake said,
And-
it's going to be mine.
Okay.
Backstreet Boys.
Barry,
No, it was not.
I mean, NSYNC.
It was Justin Timberlake. Have you ever seen a meme?
But the whole team.
Barrier
sings that
number
song.
3. This is Brian Kivan and Marcus Martin. This is the widescreen book about language barriers. This issue, we have the two main characters. Well, the one we saw at the end of issue 2, and then right at the beginning of this one, they both call deaf from this alien. They can't hear what he's saying. It's too high pitched, blows out your eardrums. So we get a whole issue that's silent, a whole issue. And I want to ask you guys a question from the beginning here. So me and Garrett talked about on the forecast, we do enjoy silent books every once in a while.
Yes.
It's nice to have a book where the art tells a story. When you have a strong artist like Marcus Martin, I think it works. Do you feel, though, because when I got done reading it, I was like, I enjoy this book, but I feel like since there's no words, that I should read it like 2 or 3 times to be like, I know what's going on. Like, to get it all? Does it to force you to read slower?
Does it make you feel like you're missing information?
Because the first time it feels like I read it too fast because there's no words.
Right. I made sure to slow down because, and I was glad I picked up on a couple things that you read at the back pages because you do get to see Brian's words, his text direction for what the art should be, loosely. It's very loose, but the thing that when it's Liddy's husband in the beginning, or when That's the only thing I can think of. And that was her horse whose head got caught off in that tornado. Sparkles or Starlight or whatever the fuck that
Frosting or something.
Yeah. Sprinkles.
Was that maybe it was Sprinkles? I can't remember.
Whatever. Some stupid horse.
But that was in print?
Yeah. Did you not get that information?
No. It said afterward, it said just ...
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's nothing there.
Oh, yeah. We got script and...
Oh, I read digitally. So, yeah, I didn't get that.
Well, sucks.
I didn't read that part. This is one of those things that I was actually really excited that it was quote unquote a picture book because I could just look through. I was late getting to reading tonight, so I
also read it
through it
digitally since this one is on his own website in higher quality.
Yeah,
I went to that and found that. So that's also older.
Yeah, true.
So it might be that he finally was like, yeah, let me add something to that book. Where I was
think it's
reading
fun to kind of know the story behind the silent issue instead of. I mean, that's the thing with the silent issue. You kind of you can assume things without having too much of a boundary to what the story is actually trying to come across.
I love the placement of the silent issue in this series because there are 3 in. The first 2 were kind of like character things to understand both these people, and then when they interact, understand how they're reacting to each other. And then in this one, I feel like at least there's a lot of plot that happens. But it doesn't take that much time. Like now there's a lot of stuff that's happened and where they are right now. And to put them in that danger of drowning in whatever fluid that is.
Because they figure out how to weaken or at least scare the alien creatures.
That's what I mean. There's a lot that happens in here
John Jones.
if you're looking for it. And I think I like that we have this place here where Brian K. Vaughn's like, I got to tell a lot about this plot. What am I going to do? Am I going to have them like do exposition or like the aliens Calvus are not going to explain stuff. They're going to be like, oh yeah, fire hurts us. Or you know what I mean? Or like them try to figure it out together. In the art, you see her be like, let's burn some of this shit. She has the thing, and she's like, let's burn some stuff. And she wants to burn the book, and he's like, no. I'm making my own comic in here. You can't burn this. And so cause it's like, what the fuck? Like, we're in danger.
We're gonna die, yeah.
And he's like, okay. So he rips it out and gives her the rest of the book, and that's when they start the fire. But like in those, 2 to 3 panels? Not even, maybe 4. We'll say 4 panels. It's like, I understood that whole interaction. I don't need them talking back and forth. It's a nice, that silent issue in this, not only is cool because I think we just enjoy it, just seeing the medium, being able to use it visually rather than just relying on dialogue, but also like in terms of the story, it's a good placement for this issue because Brian did all this stuff, and then we're at a point now where they've resolved their issues, not totally, but they're working together. And she's seen parts like, hey, he wanted to write, he wants to write comics, so we got that. Like he's an artist kind of guy, and that's why he's going to America. He wants to have a better life and maybe be a comic book artist. And she is a resourceful one. She knows like she's the one going to be in charge of this. She puts out the backpack, and we also see like how long have they been in that ship? We don't know, but she's really thirsty. It might be a little while. There's a lot of things here you can read into it and be like, I have a lot of information here. Even though, like I said, it feels like you read it quick, but if you said, like you said, take your time and see all the details. This issue packs a lot of information, and it's good now because I feel like we had 2 more issues left, and those last 2 can just be the resolution to this plot because I know enough about these people to be like, I kind of know I kind of know these 2 now. And I just think, I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I think it was perfect timing to do a silent issue.
Marcus Martin's art's really good. It's like cartoony, but also their facial expressions are enough, especially in this issue, to be like, oh, I know.
Very realistic in a sense.
I know what they're saying without with them saying it. And I think maybe that's also like the point of this issue is to show you that barriers don't only come in verbally, like if nonverbal barriers, like if somebody can't hear you and they're deaf, there's a lot of barriers there with communication. It's just communication in general. So they're both deaf, like they're trying to figure out how to talk to each other, but they have way of a need. They're communicating better non-verbally than they would if they were able to speak and hear each other. So like in this issue, for the first time they've understood each other.
Yeah.
And they're working, that's how the way they're working together. It wasn't that, like in the other issues, they weren't working together because they so badly wanted to talk to each other, and they one spoke Spanish and one speaks English, and they don't speak the same language, and they just assume things about the other one. And now when they can't speak and they're both being nonverbal and being like, no, let's do this, this, and this, they're finally being like, oh, we're the same person. Like when you break down the language thing, we're just human. And now we're fighting against this alien thing. And I think that's kind of the point here at this point, being like, see, like if you were to get rid of this language barrier thing, it doesn't matter like where he came from or where you come from. Like you're both able to work together and get along. And then now probably going to die. Maybe.
Right.
Well, we'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see. Brian K. Vaughan is.
Fall in love.
I mean, there's got to be a reason why the aliens took them, so I don't imagine that they're going to let them die.
You think so? Maybe they're just taking people.
Well, but you look at all that, like they almost look like they're collectors. Because when I don't know what his name is, Oscar, when he gets taken and he goes to that apparent like dump zone is what I'm going to call it. They've got things from Texas. There's a rifle. There's just all sorts of crap. I think they're just collecting things. They're almost like they're hoarders. There's no reason for what they have. It's just that they want to have it. And so, hey, why not take these people and see what we can do with them?
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, I think we just need a little more information on how they're harvesting. If like they need humans for like food, or if they need garbage for fuel. Like, there's just a couple more questions to kind of establish what their reasoning is.
I wonder if we even learn anything about the aliens.
Probably won't.
They're just like this.
The catalyst to get these people to come together.
And like there's thing in this background, and then they won't know why they ever got captured, and then when they escape, they won't ever. But at the end of when they're done with it all, they'll be like, "Thank you, like for helping me get through that." And yeah, maybe you're an okay guy, and they'll learn something from it, and they won't even care like who tried it out there and for what reason. Like it won't matter at that.
My concern is, what if Liddy, even though she survives this thing with Oscar, in all honesty, they both owe a debt to each other for working as a team. What if she's still a pain in the ass and it's still like,
might be.
You come from a land of cartels. Screw you.
No, he's from Honduras.
She doesn't care.
I bet they get together.
It's a good 9 for me, I thought.
Yeah, that was a good 9 too. Yeah,
I'd agree with 9.
Yeah, it's something about the widescreen format, especially in this issue, and Marcus Martin's art. It really does shine. And I mean, not to say nothing about Brian K. Vaughan, but I think Brian K. Vaughan, at this point in his career, can write whatever he wants and it's still good. Like he's at a level now where he's like, yeah, I can just write whatever. It's good. I don't think he's written a bad book in a while. But his artists that he's picking for his books, he knows who to pick. And the reason why he knows like they're great is because they're great visual storytellers. And that's why in this issue I was like, I think Brian's like, yeah, you shine for a second.
Well, that's what he says. He's like, dude, you're going to have way more. I mean, that's what he says in the script. You're going to have way more work than I do in this issue. So you literally just do what you do.
Oh, really?
It's pretty funny. I'll have to send you pictures of it.
I wonder. Oh, good.
I think the thing with Brian K. Vaughan that I noticed, and it's kind of the same with Mark Miller when he was putting out books, depending on who it was, he always picks great artists. But like you said with Brian K. Vaughan, he actually focuses on the art is what's telling the story. I'm just here to add a little dialogue or give you direction of what I would like to see.
Guidance.
But Mark Miller for me was always like, oh, here's my story. This is what I think you should do. Brian K. Vaughan kicks ass at his writing, and I love the fact that he trusts his artists to do their thing.
I hope that maybe we'll get a Saga silent issue.
Someday.
I'm sure eventually we will.
I mean, every once in a while there's like a good section that's just art, but I would like to see Fiona do some silent storytelling. So, Alex?
Sorry. I was thinking about that Saga issue. We've got Justice League No Justice #2, written by Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, and Joshua Williamson, art by Marcus Toe and Francis Manipul. I read this, and there was things I actually did like. I was almost like, whoa, man, I kind of like the Justice League. I realized I actually hate Amanda Waller. Like she's really annoying. She's the character that I get. She's supposed to be that pain in the ass catalyst that the Justice League always goes up against, but they almost kind of need, but they hate that they need her. This is one of those when Green Arrow was talking to Amanda Waller. She tells him to shoot him. I literally would have just shot her and been done with it. But like, yeah, you're the one who fucked up.
Well, that's true, but also the heroes mostly have a code, and it's like, don't kill. So.
But it's Green Arrow. Hasn't he killed before?
Yeah. But
sometimes you got to regress. You got to go back.
He's worked with Amanda before.
Well, shoot her in the foot then.
So in this issue, they're fighting off the what kind of Celestials?
Omega Titans.
Omega Titans. They're fighting on Brainiac's planet. They're trying to kill it for some reason, and they're like, "Hey, there's just 4 trees. They all are
entropy, wisdom, wonder, and
yeah." But what was the thing they said? Oh, they all have the energy of some sort of thing.
Omega Titan.
What? The trees?
Why did you say it? Omega Titan?
No,
well,
they have the
like,
trees.
Yeah, right.
Not the Omega Titans.
But
they have the energy of the Omega Titans.
It's like the bait to get them, though.
It's like their Green Lantern battery.
I thought they just share the same energy, but it's not their energy.
Not their energy. That's why they're going.
Like what
each
Alex said,
team
it's
is going
their
to
bait.
that tree to defeat.
I didn't get that. But
I always understood is there's 4 separate powers.
Yeah.
And that's what these Titans wanted. Yes, I didn't realize they're going to be on the same planet. I thought, and apparently in the same block of the city.
Right.
So there's one that's mystery and it's a nursery. There's one that is wisdom and it's a tree, right?
Yep.
The dead tree.
The dead tree, but it's what holds all their knowledge for the planet. And there's entropy, which is what's in
prison.
A prison. It holds all their prisoners. And then the last one is
Wonder.
Wonder, which is what's in the Wonder one?
I thought Wonder was the dead one.
It's whatever teams the Tan is
What's
on.
in
is
the
dead
Wonder
one.
Ball?
That's Wonder.
That's Wonder.
Okay.
So which one was? Did you say was the?
There's one that's got the big. Who's got the Sinestro? It must be the nursery. They're trying to break into it.
Yes.
The prison. They're trying to find somebody in the prison who the Omega Titan wants to get a hold of. God, what was? I don't remember what the other tree looked like. No one gives a crap.
Whatever. There's just 4 trees. That's all we need to know.
I don't thought. Yeah, that's one. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, so they're going to, and that they go, hey. At first, Justice is like, fuck you guys. Like we know what we're doing. You just listen to us. Still, there's a lot of fighting in between teams, and then finally, Martian Manager's like, whoa. Like Brainiac. I know it's Brainiac, but he put us on his team for a reason.
Even him and Lex agreed.
Lex agreed. Was like, let's work together and try to do this. The only way we're going to beat this is if we work together. And Lex and him make the team. By the way, I like how when he's going to tell the whole team that he's like, I'm not strong enough. He's like, Starro, you're the strongest telepath in the galaxy.
universe.
And he goes, I'm with the universe, but all right. And projects all his powers. By the way, Starro in this issue was great.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy him. But even everybody, usually somebody I'm annoyed about, like Harley, not that annoying in this issue. Like she plays her part and that's it. Even Lobo for me is annoying her as well. Played his part.
Actually, Lobo was probably the strongest
Lobo was
character
awesome.
for me.
That's what I mean. Like
When
His interaction with Beast Boy.
I say Beast Boy's struggling, he goes, I don't know why I'm on this team. You guys are all these big angry dudes, and I'm not. And Lobo goes, I know you're part of a team. That's how you strive to be. But you gotta dig deep, dude. You gotta find that thing and become the biggest, meanest, most aggressive thing you can think of. Because we need you.
And then throw me at that fucking thing.
And you know what? That was a touching moment for me. That was the part that I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not a Justice League fan. I'm not a Lobo fan by any means. But I did enjoy this issue for the fact that maybe it was a part of you guys got to get over your problems and work as a team.
Right.
Think
Like,
maybe-
above
There's no
your
point. There's no
pettiness.
point in fighting. If you're gonna die, do it together now. Don't worry about what's coming after. You got to win first, then you can duke it out later.
you a Teen Titans fan? You like Beast Boy?
Bro, do you even lift?
Whoa.
You know what? Depending on who's writing the Titans, I really did like the Titans, but mostly it is because of Beast Boy.
You know what I loved about this issue? It was still that fun, big issue. The Waller part, Waller's an annoying character, but I think she's written that way. She has to be annoying. And the art, though, still great. Maniple killed it. A lot of 2-page spreads or like some weird panels, and it all works. It's just fun. I don't know what there's no annoying over-explaining about mythology that doesn't matter, and that's a Snyder thing, but I think the other two being on board,
Kind of check and balance.
check
Make
and
sure
balance, so it's not too silly, it's not too deep for no reason. It doesn't get too self-involved in its own mythology to make it fun and entertaining. So I like it gives me enough to be like, okay, I understand this is supposed to be a big deal. There's good action and it's funny. And
You can already see early on these teams are really working well together too. It's like Brainiac figured out the best combination, and it's like there's a reason you guys are together. It's because you're actually going to work this great together.
I think, honestly, the only team that I feel doesn't work well together as of yet is the Entropy team with Batman and Lex. And I think part is that they're still you've got
2 type A's.
Well, that's the thing is you've got these characters that they all want to be the boss, and you've got the one little pipsqueak who is like, I don't know why I'm here.
All the other teams have a natural leader, like Superman for that team. You got Wonder Woman for the Wonder team, and then Cyborg, and then this one's like, who's in charge?
Well, then you got Sinestro on that mystery team with Superman, and he wants to be that boss so badly, and it takes John Jones to go shove it.
Right.
This get over your contest between each other. Just work as a team. And who was it Starro that elevates his power again? No, yeah. Connects to him and brings down his anger because he's so fired up. It's like,
right.
Bro, calm it.
Cool it, yeah.
I don't know if those guys are really the leaders of those teams, though. I know they're supposed to be, but I think they're finding that these supposed like villains.
Well, they're just giving the directives, though. They're just like, hey, you do this because this is your strength. They're just kind of like guiding.
Yeah,
but it's the way Bruce leads into it. Goes, oh, at least there's a leaguer on every team. So you're thought to believe that the Justice League really is the leaders when it's really not.
But I think the other teams were good about being like, oh, like I'm not being the one to be 100% in charge. And I think Batman's team's not working right now because he has Damon saying you can't trust these people. And then Batman being like, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
Like, even though he's telling Damon, no, we have to trust him to beat this, he's still not trusting him. He's still saying, I'm the leader. I'm going to use you, but I'm still in charge here.
I think the best team as of right now is the Wonder Woman team.
I like that team a lot.
For the fact that, like, Zatanna's telling him, hey, I'm getting a lot of evil feelings from this place. And you're getting all these other characters kind of throwing in their ideas. And Wonder Woman's like, well, we'll just take it as it comes. Let's just...
Is Team Wonder, or excuse me, Team
Entropy
Mystery Superman's team?
Yes.
And is Starro on that team?
I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that team a lot, too. So it's good. I give it a good old 9.
I'm giving this one an 8.
Yep.
I did really like the first issue, and I thought this was still really good. I maybe blame the Free Comic Book Day issue, that it's kind of like where we had to meet up to where we already were in the Free Comic Book Day issue, because I can remember that.
About?
There's a Free Comic Book Day for Justice League?
Issue?
Yeah, you guys didn't get the Free Comic Book Day issue of Justice League?
I didn't know there
wasn't one.
Yeah, there was.
No. It was, they put out a DC Superhero Girls book.
Where did I... Oh, DC Nation, I mean.
Oh.
Sorry,
Oh,
DC
okay.
Nation is what I meant.
Okay.
The DC Nation issue, we were playing catch-up to that point.
Hey, I forgot all about that story, so it was fresh to me.
Well,
I'm being honest, too. I don't even know what that's... Like, because you're so put in the middle of the action. I enjoyed
Right.
that. I enjoyed that scene, but I didn't realize it was this part of the
well, I still remember those teams being formed and everything and seeing them work together for the first time in that. See, DC Nation should have never happened except for that Batman story.
Is it the Batman? When you talk about all I think about is the Batman going, yeah, that was a great...
Right. That should have just
Great
been
8
its own
pages.
thing. The other
I feel
two,
like maybe that Batman story, it's the only one that felt like it was its own story, and that was the one they wanted to put out. They're like, you gotta put more, though. And so... But if it was a Free Comic Book Day, I'm sure that Batman would have been...
Still,
okay.
Jorge Jimenez's art was great, but just besides the fact, like, I just, in my mind, I'm like, oh, we're backtracking a little
I didn't
bit.
even remember that, so it's fine.
Yep. All right. Next, we got the Mighty Thor at the Gates of Valhalla, #1, written by Jason Aaron with art by Ramon Perez, Jen Bartel.
I wanted
Two
to
stories.
like this way more than I did.
It kind of made me scratch my head a little bit.
I was just like, what?
I think it was just too much.
They tried to blow everything out of proportion that seemed bigger than it needed to be. I thought this was going to be a Jane issue, just kind of coming to terms with what had happened, and that's what I really wanted. And what I got from the first half of the book was the goddesses of thunder, old man Thunder's grandkids. I could have given two craps about their
Well,
story.
it was still a cool continuation from Jason Aaron's run. I mean, it still is his run, and they did play a huge part in like the God Butcher arc because you see what happens in the future based off the decisions in the present. I don't know. I feel like we got that nice epilogue issue with Jane, and then to go into like this, it just felt kind of like, oh, what a great ending, and then it was like, and now we got this kind of crummy one shot that's like
The only thing I didn't like, the pages when they finally meet Jane and talk to Jane were great in that first story. But the beginning part, I could take it. I mean, it's filler.
This is them
Really.
traveling around.
It's just a
dinking
reason
around.
for them to have another part with Jane, you know. But there's something a little part about some part of the dialogue in the first one, and then the whole second story that bothers me, mostly because he's been doing this the whole time. I think it's the only thing I don't like about his run is that, especially like the War of Realms. How long have you been teasing this story? Like, just happened.
Year and a half now.
And then in the Jane
it's just
part,
like, how long did Jane's storyline last? I mean,
in the Jane part where she's like, "Oh, I love when you did this and this," and they go, "Oh, that hasn't happened yet." She doesn't know about it. Like, Jason likes to be like, "Hey, I'm going to tell you about some future stuff." And when he did, God of Thunder, there was a future Thor story in there already. But it's just like throwaway dialogue, be like, "Oh, this thing too," to be like, "Oh, like." See, like, if I knew Jason was going to be on this book for 100 years, then I'd be like, oh, cool, that story's going to come up. But now I read that, and it took me out of the story being like, do you think he'll be on this book when he wants to do that story? Or that story happening soon? And I'm like, and so, like, it took me out, like, and I don't like when, and it feels like it's kind of meta, being like, oh, hey, guys, this is for the readers to be like, get excited for these
Wink.
stories. And so that takes me out of the story a little bit. And it's, there's no way to do that kind of dialogue without it taking you out of the story, because when they go, hey, what about this? You go, oh, she doesn't know about that yet. And then it's meant for you to be like, oh, cool, that's in the future.
I feel like that's what Jason Aaron thrives off, though. If there's no like secret that he gets to reveal 5 years later, it's not a fucking book that he's writing. Like,
That's what I mean. Like, even what was that book with Nick Fury, his event? God, what was it? Original Sin.
Oh.
Yeah.
In Original Sin, they had the whole thing. It was like, oh, what if they tell Thor and it lasts for like, what, 2 years? No,
3 years.
a long time. 3 years.
Right.
For something he told Thor, and then he tells it. So I feel like he likes to set himself up to be like, anticipate this. But I think it's a disservice to his books, because when you get to them, it's never going to live up to that hype
Right. Exactly.
that he sets it up for. Or even like, oh, that sounds like a cool story. If you tell me so much in advance, and it might be something that's on the reader, but still, you tell somebody so much in advance, I feel like that I'm anticipating like, oh, what's that about? But then again, like I said, I'm thinking, is he ever going to tell me that? Because I'm not sure how long is he going to be in this book for. But then the second story, I was like, okay, this would be cool, the War of Realms part, if this was the first time I heard about this. And it's Malekith setting up all these things, going to these realms, setting up this War of Realms. But I feel like this has happened before.
By now, all 9 realms should be destroyed.
I know, because he was doing it in the background the whole time.
Asgard's busy doing other things, mourning people's deaths, beating the shit out of each other, fighting Mangog. Malekith has already destroyed the other 9 realms, and is just watching as Asgard's like,
he's had control of them for a while, right? Because he sent Dario, he was like, hey, go pick a realm you want and take all the resources. They've been doing this for a long time, and so, but you're right. But at this point, everybody should be like, he should have sucked all the resources dry. He should be in charge of all of them. And Thor, Jane, and Odin's son should be like, we were so caught up on who was his Lady Thor and how we're going to resolve and get my hammer back that we didn't realize under our nose Malekith has taken over the other dimensions.
Right.
At this point, it should be that, it's because that story took so long. And the last time we saw Dario was so long ago.
Now that you bring that up, you know what the worst part of this fucking book was? I turned that page and I just fucking eye rolled. I'm like, not the Minotaur.
Yeah,
We knew he was coming back.
I looked through it and I was like, I bet Garrett just had a stroke.
Oh gosh, come on, kill that guy and stay dead.
We knew because he said, hey, go take one of your...
I know.
Well, he was going to show up sometime in this War of Realms.
I know, but it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Jason Aaron can really make an arc last. And like, when the Minotaur was the big bad guy for like 12 issues, I'm like, okay, we get it. Like,
I think even 12 is too few. I think it was almost like 20, 25.
Yeah,
that might be the saving grace for you here then, because I don't think he'll be the main person anymore. He'll just be a person in the
I know, which in the book, like when I took that out, I was like, well, he's not the main person. It wasn't that bad.
And I believe that Odin's son will take care of him in 2 seconds. So
yeah,
I mean, he did the first time they met, right? If I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah. So,
and then the letters page, Jason Aaron did say, this is going to happen next year. And I'm like, there's going to be 12 issues of buildup leading into...
What, for the War? I didn't read this. War of Realms? Yeah. There's some more buildup?
Next year,
he says
it's not coming out until next year.
When's the first time we've seen the War? It was the same thing. Somebody mentioned, hey, the War of Realms is coming. That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think the problem was going to be...
I'm going to be dead before this comes out. That's what I'm saying.
Is that if we're getting probably old man Thor, so we're going to know, yeah, he's already won. So we're eventually going to build into this going, oh, man, how did he win? I don't care how he won anymore. He's already won.
I mean, it's always good, but then it's always like, why do you have to make it so that there's so much hype around? Like, you know what I mean? Like, same thing with Original Sin.
Thor. We were so excited and like, oh, man, what's the secret that Fury told him?
Yeah, there's nothing to live up to.
You're not worthy. Holy shit, I'm not worthy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was Marvel money at its best. I mean, you didn't have to put that one shot out. It was not needed. You could have creatively told a way in the next in Thor.
This was a waste. There's no reason for this to come out.
Right. No reason whatsoever. And it almost soiled, not I mean, that last issue was so great that it didn't, but it was close to soiling that issue for me just because of how great it was compared to this piece of shit.
Go ahead.
It didn't soil the last issue for me. 706 was spectacular, but it left a bad taste in my mouth from Marvel saying, oh, by the way, we know that you guys are going to get this book because we've told you, quote unquote, this is the last little bit of the Jane story when she's only going to be on it for 3 pages. Spend your money
But also
on it.
with Jane, though, like, she's finally like, I'm finally going to take care of myself. And you assume she's going to do that. And then we're there moments before she goes to the Cancer Institute for the first time. And I'm like, I think it was cool for fans to see that. But it was like, she was so quick, like the daughter, whatever the granddaughter say, like 2 sentences. She's like, thanks, that's what I need. And then walks right in. I was like, what? Like, that's a huge decision. Yeah, on her own.
Oh, my thing that got me is when she goes, the one thing I really want to do is fly with, and they throw their hammer to fly with her.
Off.
I want to see the next page where her skin's peeled off her face because
you're horrible.
She
Too much force. I think that Jason is great with writing characters. That's why we like that last issue of Thor, because the way that Jane's arc in that story is great. I think that's the reason we love God of Thunder, his run on that, because Odinson's arc is great in that. By the end, he's unworthy. And like him becoming unworthy is a better story than why. His arc with the God Butcher. The God Butcher is a great character rather than, hey, because I don't think, we saw an origin of the God Butcher. But I just think all his stories, the plot's always okay and the characters are great. So that's why I don't need you to tease me the plots. I don't really, that's not what interests me about your books anymore. What interests me is these characters are great that you're doing, and yes, they have to do something, but you also don't have to be like, hey, get ready for this
super big.
Just let the story come to me. You write it, I'll pick it up and I'll read it.
You know what I want? I want another, not another God Butcher storyline. I'm fine with what we got, but I want another original story from him telling me something, because I remember God Butcher, those like 12 issues were some of the best Thor I've ever read.
And Unworthy Thor, like you were talking about before, the greatest part of that little mini series is him thinking of that time and having some sort of PTSD about this God Butcher and trying to get over it. It wasn't we got it because it was 3 years of being like, oh, I'm finally going to tell you what that thing was. We're like, what is it going to be? But the great part of that miniseries ended up being Thor and not, hey, why is he unworthy?
Yep.
And it's like, I'm like, at this point, I just know he's strong with characters, and it's like, okay, we'll just, tell me some characters and then like show me a story, but it doesn't always have to be a big grand thing that's like some sort of mystery or like, hey, do you remember the War of Realms? Or like you said, 12 issues of build up for a plot. Like, no, like have Thor go out, do a one issue story.
Yep.
And that would probably be great.
Like expedite the shit out of that one issue that's like getting you going and then get to the next character like point.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think maybe I would like to see Thor, because when I believe, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time. When I used to read JMS's Thor, I think it was great because he really did sit down. It was more about like the politics of being in Asgard and like who's really in charge, and Loki, how he felt being like not really part of the family. And that stuff is great. And I like to see it kind of move back into that kind of form, because that stuff's great dealing with the characters and how they interact with each other. And you really don't need a plot heavy book for that to happen. It literally could be them in Asgard trying to figure out what's going on and be like, okay, this book's good.
Right.
Yeah, so it was okay. It was like a 7.
I give it a 6.
I was
really
going
didn't enjoy
to
it.
give it a 4.
It was okay. It was way unnecessary. The art was great in the second part. I did like the art in the second part. The first part was good too. I did like the Jane part, but the rest of it, like you said, it just felt like, why is this
necessary.
A book? Why is this a one shot? It could have literally, that second part could have been in that free comic book day that they put out, and that could have been that.
It's like, let's get $5 from these suckers.
Oh, yeah, it's me again. Gideon Falls number 3. This is Jeff Lemire with Andrea Sorrentino and art. We are at a point now, we have 2 different stories going on, and the priest is trying to come up with a sermon for his first day of church, and he can't think of one because he's so shook up with his father, Tom. Those are fire trucks. So. Alex, you go hurry.
Gone.
Okay, John McClane, go follow them. So he's trying to figure out how to do a sermon. He's like, how can I do it? I'm all shook up. And then we have the story. What's the other guy's name? The one that actually it goes to
Norton.
Norton. Yeah, Norton. Norton is making booby traps for his house because he's like, somebody broke in and I'm
like
going to get him.
Home Alone on crack, booby
Dude, it was
traps.
awesome. That was the Sorrentino art right there. I love how he always does the focusing on. This is where you're supposed. This is where this thing is at. This is what it looks like close up, but it's never. Oh,
that 2-page spread of his house, and like pointing out all the booby traps and him talking about them and how he set them up, and like they're not perfect, but they'll work, and all this stuff like that. Like that 2-page spread. It's like the reason why this whole book is great, because it's like it's not perfect. So it's like this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's not some sort of weapons expert. He's like literally being like, I assume that he's like the plank is not going to hold this person's weight. They'll go down, and there's enough glass on there. Hopefully, it's going to push through their boots. And I rigged up the doorknobs so that when they touch it, they'll get electrified. But I can't I can't set it up before I leave. So at least I'll be safe at night. Yeah. And it's all this stuff that's like. It's like so, what do you call it? Makeshift. And it's like...
MacGyver.
You can see...
It's resourceful right there for what he must have had at a house.
You can see how like crazy he is.
He's obsessed. It's an obsession.
But then like we're learning slowly beyond these two, from these two stories, maybe he's not so crazy. Maybe he's just been driven crazy by all this stuff and he's the only one who actually knows what's going on. Right. And the psychiatrist comes to him and says, I saw the barn. And he's like, you saw it too? And he's all excited because he's like, I got an ally now.
Right.
And she's like, hold up a second. We could both be crazy. And he's like, what are you talking about? You saw it. And she's like, no, there's been cases of shared psychosis. Like we literally both could be going crazy right now. And he's like, no. You can tell yourself whatever you want. I know you believe because you saw the barn that you think it's real. You're just trying to tell yourself it's not because you don't want to be involved in this and act like you're crazy. So that's what we get mostly out of that one, right? Nothing else happens.
Right.
And then in the father...
they show that scary demon guy again.
Oh, yeah.
I went
how many issues are we going to go with that guy? Every single
I went through the whole issue going, oh, man, I'm like 90% of the way done. Nothing scary has happened.
It's horrifying. It's just him smiling.
Then after I got done looking at the picture, horrified, as I'm still reading the next page, I keep waiting for like this face in the book to look at me read, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Come out and eat
oh my God, I got to turn this page. I got to finish reading this issue.
And then Alex puts on the issue and he's in front of his face.
Wife, turn on all the lights.
But it really is, and she in the book she talks about him, the smiling man. Like that smile is from ear to ear, full of teeth, and he's all black besides, and it's not a dark black; it's a void of existence. And just the thought of seeing something like that, and we do see it. And Sorrentino's art on that page is just like
a boogeyman.
He was meant to draw that guy.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody else who's going to draw that guy to look like that and be on the spot with like how terrifying that is. And then, so we get the story about the father. He's trying to write a sermon and he ends up not writing anything. When he's doing the sermon, we see his notebook a couple times. He crossed out everything. He doesn't.
Wings it.
He just wings it. He's like, hey, I know there's a lot of stuff going on right now with Father Tom, and you're asking yourself, how can this guy... He killed somebody. How can somebody that I put my faith in that to tell me the word of God, and this guy is, supposed to be a servant of God, and how am I supposed to be faithful anymore, knowing that this guy was a killer? Like, that why would God make this happen? And he tells this whole stories about, goes through it, and he just, like you said, wings it. He speaks from the heart at that point, and I think that works because he didn't think anybody was gonna. He's a small town. The sheriff told him, and they may have a hard time going on your side because they really had faith in Father Tom. They really did like him. So by the end of that sermon, though, I got the impression that everybody was like, yeah, that was like the best sermon I ever heard in my life. And you did a good job just telling us what you thought.
What do you guys think of those two people?
Oh, buddy.
The bad guys?
Yeah. I feel like they're cannibals or something.
Yeah, you should come over. It's like they're trying to invite him over so hard. By the way, when somebody's too eager for you to come over, you're kind of like, for what though? Like, what's going on?
Or when they're standing during your church service when everyone else is sitting.
Oh, were they? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they were standing in the back. They weren't sitting, and I was like,
well, there's something wrong with the wife. The wife never seems to look at.
She looks nervous. Yeah,
she's very jittery. And the guy's very cool, being like, "You should just come over."
He's like has like a toothpick in his mouth. Like
I assume this is like the demon personified as a human.
There was a point when the father asked that guy a question. The guy never answers it. He goes, "You should just come over." What was it? He's like, "What do you do for work?" I think.
Yeah.
He's like, "What do you do for work?" And he's like, "We live on a farm. You should come see it." That's all he says. He doesn't say what he does for work at all.
Oh, that's creepy.
But that's the thing. You can have the smiling man, which is creepy because it's like non-human. It's human in a way, but it's also
supernatural.
It's supernatural. You have the Black Barn, which is like, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on. And then you share, if we were having a shared psychosis with Norton, being like, somebody broke into his house, like he's got to protect us. So you have that kind of paranoia horror going on too. But then we have this point where these two characters that are just trying to get the father to come back to the farm with them, which is like kind of like a realistic horror, which is like just two people. At this point, at least we know they're just people that are just trying. Like it throws up that flag in you that's like fight or flight, being like, this isn't right. Yeah. And it kind of brings it. It kind of makes you think about like anytime you've ever been in a situation when you had a stranger, like, I'm not sure if I can trust this person. And I think Jeff is great going back even to like Royal City. In Royal City, he makes you feel for the characters because he makes you relate to them no matter what happened. No matter if you're like, oh, I'm not like this person at all. He'll find something to be like, oh, okay, I relate to him on that level. In this book, he's great because it's not relating to him in terms of like growing up and all that stuff that you have going through growing up. Jeff and Gideon Falls is like, I'm going to make you relate to these people's fears and make you relate to like what it means to be afraid of something. I'm going to make you relate to these people and what it means to believe in something and you're so like, you have this kind of paranoia about something and nobody else will share it with you. And like nobody will believe you and you really have to try to convince them to do it. And what if even when you convince them, where they're like, nah, you're not telling me the truth. So like there's all these different types of fear in this book. And I think that's what makes it great. Like I said, there's a realistic one with real people, supernatural if that gets you too. So Jeff's like, hey, you're not afraid of supernatural? Okay. What about this situation where these are real people?
Right.
Like this is going to get you scared too. Or like, well, what if that's that fear of becoming crazy? What if you think you saw something, but you actually didn't see it?
I have all those fears.
That's what I mean. And if you do, like if you have all this kind of like anxiety about having these type of fears, this book is hitting every level. It's not, he's not trying to get like I said, somebody might only have one of these type of fears and he's getting that person in one place. But for like you, like you said, you have all these fears.
I mean,
he's getting you all over.
I'm already paranoid as it is. My house is, not crazy like what Norton's is, but the thought has crossed my mind going, it'd be nice to have something a little more preventative. I am actually afraid of ghosts. For the longest time, I thought my house was haunted. And it's not.
Your new house?
My new house. Well, my house was made in 1936.
On top.
Oh, that's what that noise was. Yeah. Okay, that's what that smell was. What's the other thing that I'm afraid of? People inviting me over to their house and wanting to eat me. That's kind of a fear. I realize in the store we don't know that's going to happen, but when you have someone so hard, and it's someone like I've had it before, where someone,
or even just strangers.
Yeah, I was going to say I used to work at a different place. And I would get invited going, hey, do you want to come over and do this thing for me? It's like, that's not really sanctioned by my job. I really can't do that. So no, but thanks anyway.
Well, and also, like all those fears, crazy. It kind of has for me like an Alfred Hitchcock kind of sense. Like he just gets in your mind and makes you focus on that one thing. And it's like, it sucks you in.
The paranoia is very much like Vertigo.
Right.
And you're right. It's kind of like that horror which is not like jump scary at all. There's no jump scares in this book except for that smiling guy, but
it's just like super focused.
It's the kind of fear that you sit there at night and be like, did I lock the door?
Oh fuck.
Did I lock it? What's that noise? It's like did I hear somebody just come in the door? And did I lock it? I think I locked it. It's that fear.
It's that fear. The last book we're talking about.
Is that fear of being like, even like it's something as simple as being like, did I shut the oven off? And you're leaving the house. That paranoia. See, it's that kind of fear when you're walking down the street late at night and somebody's behind you and you go, I wonder if it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
that kind of fear. And I think that fear is better than a jump scare. When you see horror movies and they have that kind of fear,
jump scares on jokes anyways.
That fear is worse because jump scares are, and in anything like a comics, you turn the page, there's some jump scares in here, obviously that guy, but I don't think that just relying on that. Like you're afraid of that smiling guy because of how much the rest of the characters fear that guy.
You talk about a build-up of fear. I think of the game The Last of Us, where there's a zombie creature called the Clicker, and you just hear them.
Spoilers.
click, and it's just scary. And you at the end of sneaking through this a place or a building because they go by sound, and so you have to sneak maybe 1 foot right in front of them while they're clicking, and you're going, God, I hope they don't hear me. I hope they don't hear me. Hope they don't hear me. And you're fine until they find you and they let out this horrible scream as they come to get you. That's the feeling I get from this book, where I read this and I'm just going, I don't want to be found. I don't want to be found. I just want to get through this issue and get to the next book because I'm that scared. It is that good of a scare. Yes, I don't need the jump scares. I don't need, because that only lasts for 10 seconds.
Well, it's also,
this builds up until it can't build anymore, until it just pops.
I forgot about one. In this book, there's also, I guess you would call it fear, but there's also like a little bit of anxiety when Father Tom, they find he's the killer. It's like, do I really know people? Like, I really trust this guy, and turns out he's a murderer. Like, you know, and all the time you see news stories being like, everybody's like, yeah, I don't know what happened. He was always a nice guy. And so Father Tom, somebody who they really trusted in that small town, and he ends up killing somebody. And
it's the neighbor, you know?
He's like, I don't know what happened. So it's also that type of fear, being like, when you really trust somebody on that level, like they were, is it still enough to be like, yeah, he's a good guy? Like, what's your judgment and character of that? So I think Jeff is good, like I said before, about making fear relatable, and that's what makes this book good. And this was a 10.
Yes, 10.
Yeah, this book's 10.
I give it a 9. I did really enjoy it, but I did think, again, maybe because I was reading this outside in like 80-degree heat.
Oh, you got to read this boy at night in your room by yourself.
But yeah, I just felt like it was very exposition heavy, which is fine. Not enough to like take down a bunch.
Oh, really?
Of points.
I thought this issue was the most less.
Well,
I thought this
I
was
think the last
chatty.
couple pages is when he finds those letters in the floorboards.
Oh, yeah. I forgot
that
about
part, that kind of like, to end on that, I felt it kind of like...
Oh, yeah, the new
as
character
a whole,
that we found, the guy who's also paranoid.
Right. So...
Yeah, I forgot about
I think
that.
it'll tie a bow by issue 4, but it kind of took me out of it a little bit when it was like all this paranoia and scare, and then it's like, oh, here's the next point of finding out about the barn, signed like strategically as opposed to...
For me, and not saying your point is valid, I think it is... At that point, I had enough character stuff. I was like, okay, we can do a little exposition at this point. But Alex, what else you get?
Sorry, I'm yawning. I was sleeping over here. Gosh, all this scary talk made me nervous. Don't know how to handle myself. We got Batman number 47, written by Tom King and art by Tony S. Daniel.
Conclusion of the what was the
gift?
The gift. You know, that's one quick thing I'll say about DC. How come they always call it one arc and then you actually get to the arc and it's completely called something different? It was called The Traveler at first, but whatever.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
all the ads, it was called This is The Traveler. And Joker was supposed to have a role in this, so I don't know. Anyways, part 3 of the Booster Gold storyline. One more little tidbit I just did learn on Twitter, that Tom King's going to be writing a Booster Gold event book coming up here soon that's going to have ramifications for the DC universe.
Did he say it was Booster Gold only?
Not
He's
only.
writing a DC Sanctuary book, which people are like, what's that about? And Booster Gold's going to be part of it. That's his event book.
Right.
Writing, yeah.
But on this, so it's another year later. So this has been 3 years, right?
Yes.
Total for each issue. And so this part starts with Bruce Wayne now dealing with the fact that his parents are dead, and he hates Catwoman and Dick Grayson Batman so much that he's like, somehow he like 3D printed some cardboard cutouts of them from like security camera footage, or I don't know how he did that. I got Alex brain during that. I'm like, how does he have a complete replica of these two characters? But whatever. So he hates them more than anything, and he's had Booster Gold chained up. So Booster Gold survived his injuries. We thought, he could have died, but he didn't. And then Bruce repairs Skeets, and so now...
they can't use Skeets because Skeets only activates to Booster's voice.
Right.
So that's actually why he has to end up going down to the cave to go get Booster.
Right. Well, and then when Bruce is like, take me back to the point where my parents died, and then Booster's like, he like winks at him. He's like, yeah, take him to the point of Bruce's parents' death. It's like not that point, but the point like when he fucked up the whole future.
Brings him back there.
Yeah.
Fights with Bruce so that way he can't save himself or save his parents at that time. His kid self sees it. Batman is born. He even says, what does he say? Welcome, Batman, or something like that. Booster says. And then adult Batman from the fake future kills himself. Like pulls away.
Well, the other Booster Gold comes in at that point too, where Booster originally showed up 3 years ago, so that he can get Skeets back.
Because it's not his Skeets. His Skeets is dead, but then broken. Skeets at that point in time, there's a time anomaly, obviously. Well, one of the boosters died, didn't he? Get shot with a shotgun? Yeah. So
now there's a Skeets and a Booster still around.
Right. So it's a Skeets from the past future with the old man Booster.
The emaciated, yeah.
Then he goes to the future and tells Batman the whole story.
And him and Catwoman don't say a word. And they just look like, the fuck did you just do?
And
I loved Booster at the end of this, though.
I was going to say, I love the way it ends.
He can never get the blood off his glasses.
Now he's got PTSD.
Yeah, he's a little crazy.
And it's the character who, for the longest time, was like the fun character. Now he's a little broken. And so now
he's probably going to lead in whatever
he's doing. Yeah, it's like.
Did you say it's called Unhinged?
DC Sanctuary. Unhinged.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I thought I heard you say it was some storyline.
I laughed out loud today reading this book when
Did
Booster.
You LOL?
I literally laughed out loud tonight.
OLL.
Booster.
Make it happen. Out loud laughing.
Oh, I did it. Booster's talking to the Skeets that he just activated, and they're talking. Skeets goes, "Yeah, I died, but then they fixed me, and now I'm back, and now I'm okay." And Booster goes, "Well, I went crazy." Skeets goes, "Are you okay?" Well, probably not.
Yeah,
and it made me laugh.
He's got that subtle comedy throughout the entire book.
And then
it's good.
Then it sealed that bow for me of just they actually made this character more relatable for me as he goes, "I keep cleaning my glasses, and I keep scrubbing them, and all I can." Do you see that speck right there? And you're looking at his glasses are pristine.
I was going to say nothing.
And he goes, I just can't get rid of it. And Bruce and Catwoman just stand behind him.
Because now instead he sees the speck on his glasses because he knows it was there at one time. So for him it's there, and it's in a way saying that he's got a speck on his soul now. So like his soul will never be clean.
Yep.
I did forget about one part at the end before they time travel. Booster's like yelling at Bruce, like, "I got you an effing gift." Like he's just explaining what he did, and everyone is just like, "That's not a gift. Like you fucked up so bad."
He goes to Ski. He goes, "You were right. I should have got him a cheese tray."
Yeah, like the whole time.
This was a 10 for me.
Yeah, it was a 10.
I agree. 10.
This was a great arc.
I was going to say I'm surprised when it first was announced. You think you can even go back and show him like, okay, I assume that this is filler till we get to the actual wedding, and it'll probably be okay. It'll relate in some way, but this is really strong. Surprisingly.
I mean, it was still a filler, yes.
It was, but
it built up a character, one, that I could have given two craps about to begin with, and I feel some pain and some sorrow for Booster Gold. And just to actually, he wanted to do something really good for these characters for their wedding day. And it turns out that you can't fix something.
He had the right intentions.
Well, he says at the end there, he says, "Bruce, I figured it out in order for, if you're going to be happy, everybody else suffers. So for everybody else to be happy, you have to suffer." And he tells them that at the end, and you just realize at that point, it is related to the wedding in some way. Can Bruce ever be happy? Is that something in his life that is supposed to happen? Is he going to get married and is he going to be happy, or does he need to be miserable for Batman to be around and be effective? And we saw that his parents living and then eventually dying in a way like they did in this book doesn't make him Batman when he's older. It made him kind of like this Punisher character.
Right.
And so I wonder if, like, how unhinged is he going to be if he marries Catwoman and something happens to her, like, at this point? Like, is he meant to be happy at this point or not? I don't know. It was good in that way because it wasn't just filler in that sense. It was kind of being like, okay, this can be about Bruce now. We've been talking about Selena for a little bit and figuring out, like, is she okay to get married? And then now it's like, is Bruce okay?
Right.
And now with the next one, we're going to have Joker. And how are Joker's friends going to take it, in a way?
Question for you.
Everything's getting so exciting.
Just branching out on the wedding idea altogether.
Yes.
Bruce will, I assume, have Dick Grayson be best man. Or will he have Superman? Or Alfred.
Oh, shit.
Like,
I think it is Clark, though.
Because there's a part of me that wants to know. I would assume so. Same with Selena. I doubt would ask Lois Lane. But then it's like, oh, do you have Pamela Isley? Do you have Harley Quinn?
You mean on Catwoman's side?
Yes. Like, I mean, do you invite these peoples that they would never meet any other time. I guess the Bat family has obviously met the Gotham City Sirens. But just makes me excited to go on. God, who's going to, maybe they won't even have it. Maybe it's going to be a simple type of thing where everybody's on the.
I have an answer for you. The next issue, the next arc is called The Best Man. It's Joker.
Holy shit.
Well, that's what it is. The next arc is called The Best Man. It's about the Joker being like, I should be your best man. So we'll see. We'll probably get answers to all these.
It's probably a one shot. Or is that going to be an arc, or is that just probably be?
It says part 1.
I'm assuming eventually Batman's got to beat the crap out of the Joker to leave him
This
alone.
is going to be a crazy. Is this Clayman?
Haneen coming back.
Ooh,
Nice.
it's gonna be a nice one.
It's going to be a good issue.
Garrett.
Last book of the night, we got Punisher number 224, written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Stefano Landini. So basically, Punisher's coming in like a wrecking ball into America. Get it?
So in the last issue, and I actually had read both issues, that 223 top 10. That was a 10er right there for me. I love that issue. That was nitty and gritty. Then we get into this one. So now Frank Castle is a fugitive of the United States.
Yep.
Decides to show up in the Bronx at the end of the last issue. So obviously now we're back in the United States. Someone, not necessarily has been hired, but has taken it upon herself to bring Frank Castle, the Punisher, into justice. And that would be Kel Danvers, who's pissed that Frank Castle is wearing her dead boyfriend's suit.
I forgot they were dating until he said that line for Civil War II or whatever.
This actually had a nice tie back to Civil War II. And I was like, you know what? As much as I hated that book, I can actually, and Secret Empire.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is.
You can tell she's pissed. She's like, hello.
She's not pulling any punches. She offered to bring Frank Castle in, going, hey, come quietly and we won't have a problem. But I'm kind of hoping you want to pick a fight because I really could use some ass kicking.
Well, and the whole issue, you know, she's like antagonizing him because, you know, she wants to piss him off as much as he's pissed her off. And he's like, who cares? Like, we deal with this shit all the time. Like, nothing's changed. And, you know, when the Punisher, like, when the AI's like, oh shit, like they tracked us, like we've been found out, and can't, like, Carol finds again, and then they do that big blow up thing in the sky, and you see it affect all the other Avengers. I kind of like look up in the sky, like, oh shit, like what is that? You can just see slowly throughout this book that Punisher is becoming more of a nuisance than he first thought. It did all start though when he goes to the supervillain bar and kills them all except for the bartender.
Oh, yeah. The other few, the big bosses got away, but you're right.
He literally kills all of them.
Yep.
Which was awesome. And I love the way that Landini draws the suit. That suit looks so good.
I've really grown to enjoy the suit. And with the last issue was actually the saving grace going, Frank Castle is still Frank Castle without that suit.
100%.
And so you get to the end of this issue and it made me think of Warzone, which was Greg Rucka's 5-issue final where he fights the Avengers and has time to plan for it. Well, I think the next couple issues, Frank Castle's going to be fighting by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, it's basically most of the Avengers roster. Like, I think we need to have a little chat, and you can see that.
You've got the Thing, Captain Marvel,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was there.
Luke Cage, Jessica Jones.
I don't think Daredevil showed up. He was in this issue and got blown away.
Yeah, he got beamed, basically.
I don't know what Daredevil was thinking. I'm going to hit you in the back of the head with my stick.
I kind of like that part, though, because, you know, they are probably the closest allies.
Yeah.
Like, Punisher's closest ally out of anybody. And for him to be like...
The one who usually understands to an extent what he's doing.
Right.
And even Daredevil's like, you're stepping on some toes you shouldn't be. Your body's cashing checks. No. Your mouth is running checks. Whatever. You're screwing yourself over, bro.
Right. What else about this book?
This, in all honesty, this series has been great.
Action. It's an action-heavy book, but that's who the Punisher is. He doesn't give time to think. He does. He does things. He punishes.
Well, and I know I talked about this last issue because this last issue to me was spectacular. He has the opportunity to either blow up a nuke or defuse it, and he some way gets it perfectly diffused, holding it, and it's like, you know, you guys can kill me, but you'll die when this nuke goes off anyway. So let's not piss around.
So I do have a theory that from this first arc, Frank barely lost, or if he ever did, it was a setback, and he would come back and win.
Yeah.
I think that Frank's getting so much of a high being in this suit that's literally going to be a character flaw when he goes against the Avengers or the next big threat. Is he's going to think, just because I have this suit, he's like, I'm invincible, basically.
Yep.
And he's going to find out very quickly how uninvincible he is.
Well, I've seen the people that he's going up against. Captain Marvel can absorb his attack, I believe.
Yeah.
So that won't be a problem. The Thing will kick the shit out of him. It's some clobbering time.
But he won't feel it.
No. It makes me excited to see how this book is going to go.
Yeah.
And that this book really has I had low expectations, and it's really blowing me out of the water.
This one has been one of my favorites since Legacy for sure. Whoa, what the fuck's going on here? I give it a 10.
Yes, this is a 10.
I can't wait to see what happens next. Marvin's taking creepy photos.
What issue of Punisher is that?
224.
224.
Punisher 224, Barrier number 3. Gideon Falls number 3. Thor Gates of Valhalla. Mighty Thor Gates of Valhalla number 1. Justice League No Justice number 2. And what else? Is that it? What's the other one you did?
That was Mighty Thor Gates of
I did
Valhalla.
that one, right?
Are you done?
Batman.
Oh, Batman number 48.
I thought that was
Sorry,
Bunny
47.
Man.
47. 48 is the one I just looked up to call the best man. Get this book to your local comic book shop. Make sure to support the local comic book shop. But if you don't want around you, digital is the way to go. I mean, also, if you don't want the clutter, digital too. I read them all digital tonight. So, Supercon 2018, Return of the Con, September 28th, 29th, and 30th. Tickets on sale at supercon.com. Alex, we're going to be there doing a show, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to be there on the 28th doing a live show for everyone. What's it going to be called? Wednesday Comics After Dark.
And not only us are going to be there, a lot of people are going to be there. Phil Hester, right, Garrett?
Yes, Phil Hester, the current artist of Batman Beyond. He's done other projects like Shipwreck. He's done some Swamp Thing that you may or may not have seen, and some Holland Files that came out recently.
Not only Phil, Science Steve, Shay Fontana, Tony Fleece, Travis Nye, Midwest all all doing a show the 28th. They'll be doing a show that night. That's the main attraction that night. Jill Thompson, Ryan Cody, John Allen, and more. Tom Wynn. Gonna be at supercon.com. Make sure there's a lot going on that weekend. I would say, if I am gonna tell you any kind of advice, buy that weekend pass. You won't regret it. You got MAP concert that night. Also, you got Wednesday Comics After Dark, and then you got a whole weekend of stuff to do, people to see. Supercon.com for more information. Speaking of nothing, no, that doesn't work.
Gary's got a game.
Garrett made a game. If you heard our last episode of the show, he said that next time he's going to do a game, and he said, I'll put these motherfuckers on my phone, these auto files. And
That was a long time ago.
it's not that game,
It's not that game.
but he made a
I
different
forgot
game.
about that game, but I made
Garrett.
another one. So, first things first, you guys are going to need your phones because you got to type your answers because you can't say them out at the same time otherwise. Because basically, on our road to episode 100.
Do you want us to text him to you?
No, that'd take too much time. Just hold it there. Type, show me.
How do you know he hasn't changed it?
Because you have to show me right away. I will literally see. You have to do it. Huh? You can write it down if you want. I don't care. So this is our 99th recording, and we have to make it to episode 100, right? And so to do that, you got to go through. You got to go through the gauntlet, basically. You got to go through the trial, the test, the journey. You can't just walk in episode 100 like, oh, I'm just going to record this. No, you have to go through the fucking MacGuffin to get there. What the fuck is... What's a Luftballon?
Air balloon.
99 Luft. You never heard of that song? 99 Luft Balloons.
No.
Oh, okay. Go on.
You mean 99 bottles of beer on the wall?
No.
I've never heard that song. Must have came out in the 80s when you guys were born or whatever.
That's true. I was born in the 80s.
Yep. So, well, here, I'll just explain it. I'll just read you what I wrote.
I think that's what we were waiting for.
I'm just trying to build up that this is not going to be an easy journey.
There's not a lot of exposition in this.
By the way, I know people listen to this now because we get this comment all the time, and it is going to happen in this game too. So go ahead and send in your comments 605-215-8249. Anytime Garrett does a game, they say you and Alex, all you do is make fun of Garrett's game.
You don't listen. You don't listen, and then you fuck up the game, and then you're like, "This game's stupid." It's because you didn't follow the fucking rules.
Luckily, we don't know them yet.
All right, Marvin and
He's
Alex.
getting there. He's like the Jason Aaron of rule taking. He's going to hype it up for a while. And then
Yeah, I get to fucking write Avengers now, too, so shut it. All right, Marvin and Alex, you're about to partake on a journey that will take you through hell and back again. You'll be traveling through 9 levels of hell to make your way to the 100th episode of Wednesday Comics. Each level will have a different challenge or riddle to overcome to make your way to the next level. If you succeed in a level, you will move on. However, if you fail, the vestiges of time will consume you. I am your caretaker through hell. I get a bye to the 100th episode because that's how my game works, so suck it.
All right.
Is that a word?
So wait.
Vestiges?
If I don't
Yes.
make it into this, if I don't surpass this game, I won't be on next week's show, everyone. But you can vote me back in.
No, that's not how this game works.
At
Yeah.
Wednesday Comics, vote us back in.
Fuck that, that's not my rule.
Or maybe Pastrami will show up.
Meh.
Oh my God, that'd be the best. Pastrami shows up.
So, your first objective before we go through hell, because I'm a kind guy, you get to come together as a team to figure out what car you're taking through hell. So, you guys pick one of your favorite comic,
67 Impala.
Boom. Sold.
67 Chevy Impala.
Yep.
Ooh,
I know that's what he wants.
We know that's how we're gonna get to hell. I like
All
it.
right. Perfect. Who's Sam? Who's Dean? Moose or Squirrel?
I'd assume Marvin would be Sam. I'd be Dean.
Okay. Boom. You guys get the
He's the
67
smart
Chevy
one.
Impala. All right. Well, we're going to start out the first level of hell, Limbo. This is based off Dante's Inferno for all you unintelligent.
Oh, really?
No, really? I never would have guessed that.
Because we're 99 episodes, 9 levels of hell to get to 100. You guys are so stupid. All right. On to our first level of hell, Limbo. Let's call it the eternal gray lobby of the hellish landscape before you. All around you is nothing. Nothing but you and me. So your first challenge before moving on is what we're going to go to
It's like
next.
one of those games that like
I'm amping you up.
This is
Just
Dungeons
fucking
and
listen.
Dragons, it sounds like.
Each challenge, this is for future reference, for every answer can be answered with a comic character, comic title, or a miscellaneous item. Okay? Got the rules?
I think so.
so anything.
No. Can't be like...
Miscellaneous item would be anything.
Shut it. Comic related
Nice way to
item.
narrow it down.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
All right. So we're now each area is kind of your hint to what the answer could be, okay? And there's an option for if you get it right, and there's an option for if you get it wrong, okay?
Okay.
So we'll see if you both get it right first. So I'm going to sell, first thing is a riddle, okay? So whatever the riddle is, you have to answer with either a comic character, comic title, or item. So, you guys ready? Once a group of 7, that which turned to 6, on claiming a mantle, 6 remained, for there were never to be 7 again. You got to write your answer down and then show me. I'll say it one more time. Once a group of 7, that which turned to 6, on claiming a mantle, 6 remained, for there were never to be 7 again. Let me say it one more time.
No.
Myself with this riddle.
You can say as much as you want to. I don't even get what we're trying to do here.
You're trying to answer the riddle.
I understand, but I don't know how I'm supposed to get anything out of that riddle. But
If I knew, to be fair, I don't know if I have the right answer. I have an answer down for it, but I don't think it's right.
Okay, so think of the territory. What level of hell are we in?
First,
Which is?
Limbo.
Okay. And then here is the hint, the riddle. One
you know,
more
when
time.
I make games for this show, I try to make it easy. That way, it's entertaining. I don't try to like. Make
This is hell. Hell's not
Here's
easy.
my answer.
Here's my answer.
Okay.
What did you put, Alex?
You put Battle for the Cowl, you put Sinister Six. So if you were right, you move on. Well, you guys were wrong. So if you're wrong,
No I want to see anybody who got that right. Please let us know.
it's a riddle. It's not
the
supposed to be handed to you. It's Black Hammer. Limbo. They're in limbo. They're in a contained place. They were 7.
We don't know
now
that for
they're
sure.
6. Yes, they can't leave.
Anyway, so we were
The
wrong.
level of hell. But they were a group of 7, all 7, and they turned to 6 when Black Hammer died. And then Lucy became Black Hammer, but then Walkie Talkie died, so they can never be 7 again. Boom. So if you're wrong, you
What
spend
if we build walkie-talkie again?
well,
Talkie-walkie.
fucking ridiculous. So if you're wrong, you spend 100 years in limbo, never to enjoy the sound of company or see anything besides the internal gray, whilst never aging. So
Hey, Marvin, you and I can hang out together
so
at least.
you stay the same age, but you have to live 100 years. No, you don't get to be together. Separate.
Oh, I'll find it.
So I'm going to write this down that you both are at least done 100 years of time.
Dead then.
Whilst never aging, if you listened. Didn't listen.
So I'm still handsome.
But then you move on.
But we still get to go to 2.
You do your 100 years.
Oh, I see.
Service.
We do our time. Okay.
All right. You made it to the second level, the level of lust.
I'm gonna put a bed of somebody snoring in the background.
You made it to the second level, the level of lust. Like Batman when joining Wonder Woman in the Forever War, you must avoid all temptations that could corrupt your journey. Your challenge, and this is another riddle. Once a couple's separated, by duplicity they reunite as a whole. It's a riddle. Sorry you guys are stupid.
Oh. You know what the weird thing is that I feel like I'm actually fairly decent at riddles.
Yeah, me too.
But
usually riddles have like a hint.
But maybe he's right. But I think we're in round 2. Where's this one called? Lust?
Lust.
Okay.
Once a couple's separated, comma, by duplicity they reunite as a whole.
So who's a couple? Oh, balls. Okay.
All right. Show me your answers. Huh.
What'd you got?
Both of you are wrong.
I had Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Rogue and Gambit, because they had clones by duplicity.
What?
They reunite as a whole. From Rogue and Gambit, the mini that you
after
just
beat the
brought
shit
up.
out of them.
So winners move on.
You do, if you remember the show, I didn't talk about it because I didn't read it. So.
Oh, I thought you did pick up the first
No.
issue.
No,
Whatever.
he got it. He just hasn't read it.
Yeah, so.
If you failed, you spent 100 years with your most wanted desires in front of you, but always out of reach, whilst again, never aging. Then you move on.
Oh, we're still handsome.
All right. So we're on to level 3, the level of glutton. Much like Thor consuming mead, overindulging comes at a price, as in extreme drunkenness. Notice as the thousands of zombies around you wait to taste your flesh should you fail. So there's going to be an answer to this, and it's whatever the answer is, the brother of this answer is glut. Okay?
Okay.
So, some try to hide, some try to cheat, but time will show we always meet. Try as you might to guess my name, I promise you'll know when you I do claim.
So the brother to this answer is gluttony.
Correct.
Okay. I have an answer. I don't think it's right. I said famine.
Death. Isn't Death the brother of Glutton in East of West?
No.
What is he?
No. They're just the
not
horsemen.
siblings?
So
I assume they were
gluttony
siblings.
is one of the 7 sins, same as lust.
Oh, I screwed up there. I thought death.
it's war,
famine.
pestilence, famine, and death
Oh, okay.
are the 4 horsemen.
Well, I thought they were related. I didn't
No,
know they were.
the 4 I just named are, but gluttony and lust and pride and all them would have been related. Those are siblings.
Well, I fucked up on that one.
So you go to hell.
Nope, I get a bye, remember? So, if you failed, which you did, but it's my fault, but I don't care, your flesh will be feasted on for 100 years, whilst again not aging and also not dying. Then you move on.
So do I have a healing factor in this hell? So when I come back,
I would assume you would have to have some if you're not.
I say I
aging.
can't age and I can't die.
And aging's just dying. So
All right, so we're at the level of greed. Wealth is said to go hand in hand with power, and we all know power corrupts. So this is spoken to a lover, quotation marks. You can be whoever you want to be beneath that mask. That's why we stay hidden, isn't it? So we are safe and armored. So we are accountable to no one.
by the way, also before you move on, are we saying have we said this answers the whole time? Because they obviously can't see it. Are you saying the answers?
I've been saying.
Yeah.
I've been telling
okay,
you what
same.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
I didn't remember. So go on.
Because you said Thor out loud last time.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
That's what I was.
You can say them out loud after you've written them down. So, to a lover, quotation marks, you can be whoever you want to be beneath that mask. That's why we stay hidden, isn't it? So we are safe and armored. So we are accountable to no one. Who said that? To their lover. And the level is greed.
Ready?
Yep.
Catwoman.
Catwoman and Catwoman. Finally, the first one you guys got right. So you succeeded, but if you would have failed, you would have been drowned in gold, always suffocating, never dying or aging, always one last breath away from peace.
So when I come
Then you
back
would move on.
dead, I'll have a shitload of coins in my gut. Sweet.
All right, moving on. Anger, hatred, betrayal. This is the level in where you test your ability to travel through vile behavior, uproar, and disgust. One said betrayal has happened to me on the show and is the answer to this level's challenge. So here's the riddle, and you guys got to guess what it is. Once followed trails of clue to clue, comma, now the answer follows, ... So once followed trails of clue to clue, comma, now the answer follows, ... You both ready?
Hang on, no. Okay. Hey, that's about all right. Ready?
Yep.
Ballroom with the revolver.
Oh shit! I lost my page. I just put a question mark because I don't understand.
Put a question mark? You would have been closest. It's Renee Montoya or the question.
That's what I meant by this.
Yeah, okay. Well, fine. Then only Alex. If you failed, you will be yelled at by your parents for 100 years while not staging. No peace of quiet will ever reach your ears.
Man, hell sounds like it's going to be torture. When your parents just yell at you.
Then you move on.
I mean that facetiously. That's not a bad thing.
They're yelling at you, never stopping.
I mean, so far that was the 5th level.
Yeah.
The other 4 levels were worse. So
Whatever. Heresy, anarchy, going against the beliefs and morals of many. Here, the opposite of everything you stand for rules out. Your challenge is these are the song lyrics that I'm going to tell you, and they're sung by who? Okay? So, think I can taste your fear now that my time is near. I'm in your blood. I'm so alive. I only wish you'd let me drive. It won't be long till I make you kill. Who will be laughing then?
Yeah, switch our thing around. Hang on.
switch your what?
Okay. Ready?
You know
Yep.
what? We're taping up here. You could be talking. So there's not dinner.
Oh, I guess you're right. Well, what'd you guys write?
Daniel Lovato.
Etrigan the Demon.
It's the Joker in Look Who's Laughing.
Oh, I
Get
thought
it?
you said it
'Cause
was
he
a
said-
singer.
No, I said song lyrics sung by who? I didn't say it was sung by a singer.
Oh.
Sung by it led me to think it was.
You said
sung by-
miscellaneous items could be a choice, and Demi Lovato's a miscellaneous item.
Well, that's
She's a
horrible
human.
that you think of women as an item.
No, everybody.
Well,
I was going to put
everybody.
I had,
So
I
winners
had,
move on.
I had the Who, and I crossed them out.
If you failed, you become the Joker, conscious of your actions, but unable to stay their course as you murder innocents for 100 years to come.
It's not bad either. So I'm not
Yeah,
going
so I'm not the one getting hurt, but I'm aware of what I'm doing.
Yeah, you guys have no morals or anything?
Well, if I'm the Joker, I don't care. So.
All right. Violence, the level of violence.
a
Death,
6.
destruction, disarray, no man's land. Wounded, crippled, and deformed. Violence is a dark path for which there might not be a return. So this is a quote, and you got to figure out who said it. Okay? All men have limits. They learn what they are and learn not to exceed them. I ignore mine. All men have limits. They learn what they are and learn not to exceed them. I ignore mine. So while they're writing theirs down, this game took me a long time to set up, and just like always, they had to
Hey, I'm playing.
pin me while I'm down.
I got my name. I got my.
I just say it. I feel like something like this game
Ready?
could have been easier.
Yeah, it's going through hell. Hell is not easy.
I
Doctor
put
Strange.
Thanos, aka Josh Brolin.
God, you guys, it's Batman. Batman's the answer.
Which Batman?
Batman.
Michael Keaton. Was it written word?
Oh, Christian Bale, Batman.
Oh, no wonder no one cared.
Well, winners move on. You guys didn't. If you failed, you must punch a bunny for 100 years whilst never aging, and you can you can never stop punching. No rest for the violent. Then you move on
You must punch a bunny for
over and over again.
Wait, does the bunny die?
No,
Oh, then it's fine.
but you hear it whine. It
there's-
still feels pain.
There's literally no stake in this. Yes, one, my ears will bleed from the screaming of that rabbit. But wait, is it a baby bunny? I'll just eat the dang thing and be done with it.
Is that what a bunny is? Isn't a rabbit an adult
No,
bunny?
a bunny is a baby bunny, or a bunny is a baby rabbit.
All right, we got 2 levels left. The next level is a fraud. Mistaken for misdeeds committed by someone malevolent of kind likeness. And this one's also another quote. Well, it's kind of a riddle, too. Quote riddle. And you got to guess who it is, okay? So, looks like me, talks like me, misfortune like me, but is not me. Hands to create what was destroyed as I destroy what has been created.
Holy shit.
Looks like me, talks like me, misfortune like me, but is not me. Hands to create what was destroyed as I destroy what has been created. So, do you have your answer, Marvin?
Yeah.
Alex, do you have your answer?
Yep.
Okay. Reveal your answers.
Guess who's number one.
Rorschach.
It'd be Hush. So, Batman's villain Hush, because, he does plastic surgery. If you fail, you must watch your mortal enemy take on your role in life, looking just like you for 100 years with your family, friends, work, pets, anything you have ever emotionally attached to. Then you move on.
Has Hush been around for like 6-7 years?
What?
Hush? Has he been around for
Not
the last
forever.
6 or 7 years?
Yeah, he's been around for a while. Since...
No.
When has he shown
been
up
in a
lately
comic
in a
in the
book?
last 6 or 7 years?
Oh, yeah.
Which book?
He's in Batman Beyond for a bit.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
He's coming. He's going to be in Batman.
Yeah. Last level, the level of treachery. Evil in its purest form. Survive this and you make it. Fail and evil consumes you. And this last one is a riddle. Okay? So...
Aren't they all riddles?
Some of them have been quotes. Some of them have been other things. So you just got to guess what this is. I'm made of metal, but I'm not a saucepan. I have a lip, but I don't have any teeth. I have a clapper, but I don't have any hands.
So I've got the clap.
I can ring, but I'm not a phone. I can peel. Oh, shit. I can peel, but I'm not a banana. I shatter skulls with my laughter. What am I?
Can I have you read it one more time?
Sorry.
I feel shit.
Can't read this. I'm made of metal, but I'm not a saucepan. I have a lip, but I don't have any teeth. I have a clapper, but I don't have any hands. I can ring, but I'm not a phone. I can peel, but I'm not a banana. And I shatter skulls with my laughter. What am I? Treachery. And what am I? I'm just saying, if you're going up against the Riddler, fail.
Okay, I'm ready. I put Mjolnir.
Black Bolt.
It's Marvin's fucking bell.
How do you peel a bell?
I can peel, but I'm not a banana. I don't know. That was the riddle I found.
Hang on. Even the Riddler at least knows
Yeah, I was gonna
how
say,
the riddle works.
It has to relate. What has a clap? It doesn't have a clapper. What does that mean?
Yeah, a bell does. That's what it taps against to make the sound.
It has a bell in it.
When you do yours, it's something brushing against the bell to make noise, called the clapper. That's how you make noise.
I thought the bell, and then I was like, no, I don't know how I would peel how do I peel a bell?
I don't know. That's what the riddle I found for a bell. There was like 5 of them, so I picked that. Well, if you fail, Red Skull, Joker, Thanos, and Bane take turns beating the shit out of you for 100 years, except you can die over and over and over again. Then you make it to episode 100. So you guys basically went through 600 years of shit to get to episode 100. But we're going to get there, so... Boom.
Yeah. To be fair, those 600 years of the show hasn't happened, so everybody else suffered
And
for
here
it.
marks the last time I make a game for the show.
WednesdayComics605@gmail.com. Email us how much you love that game. Love to let Garrett know. Send him your praise.
You know, the weird thing is that I actually thought about doing a game like this, going, hey, I want to do a riddle me this. No, I don't need to.
At Garage
Because no one else would get
88.
them.
Hey, I'm 100% serious. Hasbro's, Parker Brothers, call them up. At Alex Mastrello on Twitter, at Marvin_Sagoro, at Wednesday Comics. Did I say that already? Who knows? Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast.
Look at the fucking board. That's what it's there for.
Sorry, I'm so rattled. I'm sorry.
To be fair, I actually enjoyed that. That was fun.
I know.
It wasn't for me. You guys ruined it after the first level, so I'm never playing a game. I'm never doing a game ever.
YouTube, find us on YouTube. You can find videos. The Gauntlet just came out this week. You can see these two and see that are gems. That is YouTube. Search for Wednesday Comics. 605-215-1849. Let us know if you want to leave us a voicemail. and drop us a line. Let me know.
It really is Randall.
Let me know. So I'm like,
He can't even fucking read.
I'm like Booster Gold over here. I think there's blood on my soul. Gary, we got a book club.
Wednesday Comics League of Extraordinary Gentle People proudly presents.
Sorry. Saga of the Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. Book 1. We're going to read that, and John Boylan's going to be on the show, and we'll talk about the Saga of the Swamp Thing. Just announced Justice League Dark will be part of that team. And just announced, on TV show, too. So a lot of things Swamp Thing coming up, so make sure you go to rootstoswampthing.com for more information on the Avatar of the Green. He'll let you know how Swamp Thing's doing. He'll let you know the history. He'll let you know little gems. Last week, I believe, there was a little snippet about a sweater. So you want to see about that? Little memorabilia or so. He'll find something weird that they made for Swamp Thing, and he'll tell you about it. Supercon 2018, Return of the Con is September 28th, 29th, and 30th. Make sure you buy your weekend pass at supercon.com. We'll be there on the 28th. We're doing a live show. That's Wednesday Comics. Nope. Supercon After Dark. Wednesday Comics doing a live show, so make sure to get your ticket. And make sure also you subscribe to this show at... No, that's not either. On iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or on Google Play. Make sure you subscribe to us. Tell your friends to subscribe to us. Let them know there's a comic book podcast out there and they need to subscribe. Also, let me know, how many books do you get? I'm kind of curious out there. What's the range here? I know these two over here are crazy. They spend $5,000 a day. Week. What is your range? I don't mean money-wise. Just how many books you get. How many books do you pull in a month?
I think if they tell you how many books they get in a week, you're going to know how much they spend on a book.
I don't know necessarily. They're not telling me what book. Is that all Marvel?
I just want to know a number of
all
books.
DC. Garrett, thank you.
Don't mean it.
You do realize that part of us amping up that game is laughing about it. You make fun of Mike on games too. You yelled at me in that one show. We had a clip of it.
Yeah.
I want to hear that clip one more time just to hear the
D-U-N done. No games.
Hey, you know you're gonna make
Garrett Bros games over.
Make sure you come to SuperCon. Garrett's making a game for that show, so make sure you're there and you see it live.
Maybe.
Oh God, you probably shouldn't do that. Everyone will be yelling.
See the nearest trash can. Throw it away. Spend hours. Bye.
You should go. I made this game for us to play. Then just
that'll be my bit. I'll take it. Put some construction paper flames and then throw in a trash.
I'm trying to help your career over here, saying Parker Brothers call you up Hasbro, and you want to throw it in
because you're mocking me.
Who said? Who thinks this is mocking? We were celebrating.
You guys can't tell, but I raised my hand.
All my fans out there who know that all my games don't even stand a fucking chance.
Don't worry, Garrett.
Just remember this moment.
As you're crying.
We did get one out, so that's good.
Yeah, we got
one on 9.
Yeah.
Right.
Catwoman.
And I almost didn't write Catwoman, so I got 0, but it was close. For Wednesday Comics, I am the man of mystery. My name is Marvin.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Garrett.
Hey, everyone. Keep reading those books. Fuck, I fucking ruined it. Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages.